Today, I spoke to Artem, a video editor who went from editing Fortnite montages for fun to now making $104,000 from a single client.
I've been doing video editing for the past 5 years, and at the moment I'm currently making over 10K a month from it consistently.
So I asked him a few questions to try and figure out how he got to where he is today, what decisions he made, the mistakes he avoided, and which things actually moved the needle. And stick around, because in this video, Artem actually reveals the #1 thing most people get wrong about service-based businesses.
If you're trying to do a similar thing, you shouldn't even instead, you should be.
All right, welcome Artem. First of all, tell me a bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Artem. I'm 21 years old. I've been doing video editing for the past almost 5 years. And at the moment, I'm currently making over 10K a month from it consistently.
All right, nice. So I guess the first question is, I want to know a bit about who you were before you are the guy you are today. So could you give me a quick overview of your experiences up to this point, like your childhood, school, that kind of thing? Just a brief overview of how you got to who you are today.
Yeah, honestly, I was a pretty normal kid in school, and how it happened is I started playing a bunch of video games towards the end of school, and that sort of got me into video editing, but I didn't think that video editing is something that can be making money for you and that you can be doing for a living. So after school, I was gonna go to university and stuff like that. But when I actually joined the university and started studying there, I realized that what I was studying, which was computer science, it's something I couldn't care less about and I'm not interested in it at all. So I sort of decided that I had to lock in and get with video editing to the point where I don't have to work a computer science job after I graduate from uni.
All right, yeah, that's fair enough. What would you say is the key starting point which put you on the path to where you got to today?
It definitely happened at uni because whatever I was studying, I was just so disinterested in it. And I would imagine my life like 10 years later down the line where I have to sort of clock in every single day from 9 to 5 and I don't know, do some programming or something for like someone else. And it just didn't seem like a great life at all. So instead, I figured I can actually, just put in a bunch of effort right now up front, but then later, 10 years down the line, I'm gonna be doing something I'm actually passionate about for a living.
All right, so then from that starting point, what would you say was the key differentiator between you and everyone else who might have tried to do the same thing? I'm sure a lot of people feel stuck. They don't want to go down that path where in 10 years down the line and they're not able to do what they actually want to do. So what would you say the main reasons are that you actually succeeded?
I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and I feel like my personality is just a really good fit for video editing, to be fair. I'm like the type of guy who can just sit there, sort of lock in, and who's very attentive to details, which is very important with video editing. If I have to get something done, I'm gonna get it done, which is something high-paying clients value a lot because deadlines are like everything for them. And on contrast with that, recently I started doing something slightly else for one of my video editing clients, and that role wasn't a personality fit at all. So actually I was just not enjoying the work that I had to do, and I was procrastinating on it all the time, and I wasn't that good at it. So genuinely, I feel like doing something that fits your personality is a huge point, just because you're gonna be naturally a lot better than it than the majority of people out there.
So for someone who's trying to get to the point that you're at, maybe even specifically making 10K per month as an editor, for example, what would you say the most important aspects are to focus on?
I think aiming to raise your price per video is the biggest factor, just because there are basically two paths you can get to 10K. Either edit a bunch of videos for not that high of a price, like a bunch of short form videos, for example, or you can edit just a few videos for like a few thousand each. And in my opinion, the second option is a lot better, just because it gives you a lot more leverage in that relationship with your client. So I would be always aiming to raise your price per video, and you do that by becoming a better editor. After you become a better editor, you're also going to be able to become a fast editor. And at that point, you're going to be able to edit expensive videos fast.
Since you charge such high prices, you know, even up to 2.5K per video, what would you say is the main thing that enables you to charge that much? Since there are so many editors out there, what is it that lets you so confidently ask clients for such a high price when most people would be scared because they might just go for someone else instead?
Yeah, honestly, so many video editors get this wrong, and it stems from other freelancing industries, I guess. But video editing in this sense is quite different, where the results you get for your client, they're not really the sales or the conversions or the revenue they make from the video, just because high-paying experienced creators, they understand that the editor doesn't have much impact over these metrics. So what they're really looking for in an editor is, at the end of the day, just being very reliable and making their life a lot easier. When you look at the whole production process of a video, post-production, so basically editing the video, is what always takes the most time. And the more videos a high-paying client can publish, the more money they're gonna make, because they make money from every single video. So if you remove this bottleneck from their business of just taking post-production off their plate completely, you can be asking for a bunch of money just because that's so valuable to them.
All right, so you listed all of these different things which high-paying clients are looking for, and I'm assuming these are the sort of things which landed you that client which you've now made over 100K with. But could you tell me how you actually landed that client, and maybe how someone else could go about landing a client like that?
Yeah, like I mentioned, when we just started working together, it was 700 per video, and they reached out to me on X, Twitter at the time, and ever since then we started working together. So honestly, all these things that I listed in terms of what high-paying clients are looking for, I learned from like 2 years of working with this specific client. So really, if you're trying to do a similar thing, you shouldn't even focus on trying to attract a client specifically like that. Instead, you should be developing the skills that high-paying clients are looking for. And then, like I mentioned, having a bunch of social presence, just putting yourself out there as much as possible. Personally, I haven't ever done that much outreach, but you might need to supplement your online presence and inbounds with some outreach as well. But the main thing really, in my opinion, is just developing the skills and building yourself up to the point when this client actually does reach out to you, you are able to deliver on the value that you promise, and this turns into a long-term relationship rather than ending after a one-off project.
All right, well, yeah, I'm sure that's super valuable for anyone out there who isn't aware of how to get to such a high level where you're charging that much per project. So I'm sure that's super useful. So I want to change topics a little bit. I'm sure a lot of people would be interested to see or hear what your day-to-day life actually looks like as someone who makes 10K per month from editing. How many hours you're putting in? Are you even enjoying it? Just give me a quick overview of what day-to-day life is looking like.
Yeah, right now, as I mentioned earlier, I started helping out other editors as well. But at the same time, I don't want to be the guy who's coaching people on how to edit without actually editing myself. So right now, it's almost 1 week I'm going to be an editor, and then another week I'm going to be someone who's coaching editors. The editing week looks like essentially just deep working, editing all day until the video is done, which at the end of the day, it is what it is. And coaching week, I have a bunch of calls, and I also need to stay consistent with content. So I work on that every single day to like produce it consistently and, you know, attract as many editors as possible.
All right, yeah, that's interesting to hear. Could you give just a quick overview of what an actual day in the life looks like? So from when you wake up, when you go to bed, and just kind of roughly what you do throughout the day.
On a normal day, I would wake up around 7 a.m., you know, get myself sorted out for the day, and then start working at 8, work maybe until 12-ish p.m. So just deep work, and these 4 hours I feel like is where I get the majority of stuff done for the day. And this is just a tip for everybody. I feel like having this 4-hour block at the same time every single day is insanely helpful, just because after a few months, you're gonna be doing this deep work effortlessly. And after that, usually I have a call or two, then gym, then back home, and either doing some fun social stuff in the evening or just catching up on like some random work. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like that 4-hour work block is the most important thing of the day.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty interesting to hear. At the point you're at now, what would you say has been the hardest point of getting to where you are now? Have there been any big mistakes you made along the way? And what would you do differently maybe if you started over?
I'm honestly not too sure what I would do differently, but in terms of what's been the hardest point is definitely understanding that these metrics that you're after, like 10K a month or a really cool client that you want to work with, they don't happen in a linear way. There is a plateau, whether that's 500 per month, 2.5K per month, 5K per month, it doesn't matter. But essentially you just hit that plateau and you're putting in actions every single day to break through, but it's just not happening for like 6 months or something like that. And then all of a sudden you literally 2x your income, or you land a few really good clients. And then it seems like all of this came in just a few weeks or so, but in reality, those actions that has been adding up for the past 6 months played a huge role as well. So I would just always remind myself that probably 95% of the time you're in a period where you're putting in the work but not seeing any crazy results. But if you look back like a year ago, where were you and what type of stuff were you doing on a day-to-day, then you just realize that your life is very different to how it looks like right now. And it's exactly because of those slow periods of you just grinding without seeing any success immediately.
Okay, and so for someone who's at level 0 and wants to become an entrepreneur or maybe start a service-based business like you, what is the best piece of advice that you would give to them right now?
Probably don't overthink choosing a business model or something like that, just because it's not going to be glorious from the very beginning in any way, no matter what people on YouTube tell you that are trying to sell you on their specific business model that they're teaching. You're still gonna have to go through the trenches, but the skills that you learn in those trenches, they're gonna be applicable for the rest of your life. So really, whatever you choose right now, as long as you try to become as good as possible at that specific thing, it's gonna benefit you long term. So you should just really not waste your time choosing this thing and instead go for it. And if anything happens, then you're gonna be able to transition into something else like a year later down the line without any problems, just because you're already gonna have the skills.
All right, so now I want to ask a bit of a different question. What would you say is the worst thing about your business model? What are some potential downsides to what you do?
Yeah, for sure. Like in any other business model, there are upsides and downsides. For example, the upside would be the fact that editing is super consistent once you land those high-paying clients. But on the downside, it's obviously tied to your time. So realistically, you only have 24 hours in the day and you can't be, editing 100 videos a month just because of the time limit. And I would say that's like the biggest downside of editing, just because it's at the end of the day, service-based business model that's not as scalable. Another downside would be is that it's quite technical. If you are not a technical person, which to be fair, I've met a few guys like that who got into video editing, they're not that good with tech in general, and I saw them struggling a little bit with all the technical aspects. And on top of that, genuinely it does require a lot better computer, for example, rather than copywriting, just because copywriting at the end of the day, you have a Google Doc pulled up and then you're typing words. It doesn't take any compute power. But video editing, like you need to do these effects and then you need to render the video, which takes a bunch of time. So yeah, it would be non-scalability, or not as scalable as some other more advanced business models, and the fact that it's quite technical.
All right, yeah, nice. So final question, what's next for you?
Coaching, really. I mean, I feel like I achieved everything I wanted with editing specifically, and that's why I started coaching, and also to learn all these new skills that I'm really bad at the moment. But it's just fun learning them, and yeah, the goal at the end of the day is to learn the skills, because everything else is gonna follow after that. So just working on this every single day, and I think I'll keep doing this for, I don't know, however many years later down the line.
All right, well, awesome. Thank you for coming on, Artem. If you're interested in checking out Artem's coaching, it will be in the description. And that's pretty much it for the interview. So thank you for coming on again.
Thank you, Oscar Bruce.